Can you tell me if there's any possibility?
I'm not going to say anything, I'm afraid.
Right, but Prince Charles did give us a hint himself. He said we wouldn't have to wait too long.
After Lady Di transformed from a shy London kindergarten teacher into the much-admired Diana, Princess of Wales.
And so many people wanted to watch this wedding, not alone, but with other people. I'm sure that's why they've come out and slept along the roadside.
After Princess Diana would birth two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry.
Diana was more hands-on. She wanted to be a mother to her boys.
After Princess Diana's royal marriage had crumbled and she sat down for an in-depth interview with BBC, pulling back the veil of the hardships after having wed into the royal family.
There was always conflict on that subject with him when we discussed it. And I understood that conflict because it's a very demanding role, being Prince of Wales.
After 2.5 billion people tuned into the broadcast of her funeral in 1997, making it one of the most watched events in history.
And here at Westminster Abbey, dignitaries and friends continue arriving to be in place.
There are very few moments in history where most people will be able to recall exactly where they were when they heard the news. That Princess Diana had been killed in a car accident on August 31st, 1997. I was on my parents' driveway and my mother ran out of the house weeping. Following her royal divorce, Diana was stripped of her royal titles, but also of her security protection. This left the world's most photographed woman in the world to have to deal with the public and the paparazzi by her own means. Despite her driver, Henry Paul, being chalked up as the cause of the crash due to drinking, rumors persisted for years about her death. One conspiracy theory is that her passing was part of an assassination arranged by the royal family. It was Diana's connection to the people that would force the royal family to break away from many a tradition and adopt a new era of monarchy.
An early morning car crash in a Paris underpass ended a life with more than its share of pain and courage, warmth and compassion.
What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCredden, and in this video we're going to take a look at the effects Princess Diana's death had on the world, also the legacy she left behind, and the still existing conspiracy theories that surround her untimely passing. This video is titled After They Were Gone, and in the past we've done similar videos on Elvis, Tupac, and Biggie, so be sure to check out the After They Were Gone playlist. Also feel free to leave your condolences in the comments down below. Also, for more on the life of Diana, we released a Before They Were Gone video. Alright, here we go.
Britain lost a princess today, a young woman described by all to whom she reached out as irreplaceable.
Princess Diana passed away on August 31st, 1997 at 4 a.m. in Paris, around 3.5 hours after her fatal car crash in a Paris tunnel.
The Mercedes entered the Alma tunnel. It lurched to the left to try and avoid a slow-moving Fiat Uno in front of it. Driver Henri Paul lost control.
It didn't take long for word to spread around the globe. Time seemed to stop as people collectively shared their grief and disbelief. Buckingham Palace became a shrine to Diana as Brits placed flowers and cards while openly weeping in the streets.
Buckingham Palace was where the people found unity, a place for sharing a common grief, a place just to be. It's a dreadful time, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
There was anger aimed towards the royal family, who remained in Scotland with Harry and William. The British flag did not fly at half-mast outside of Buckingham Palace, which made the front page of the tabloids. The Sunday morning following Diana's death, the royals went to church, but Diana's name wasn't even mentioned at the service. Acts like this would be analyzed time and time again as evidence that the royal family had played some role in her death. Although in truth, these were the normal acts of tradition for the royals while dealing with such an unprecedented ordeal. Queen Elizabeth II was widely criticized for not immediately responding publicly to Diana's death. She made her first televised address in decades from Buckingham Palace on September 5th.
She was an exceptional and gifted human being. In good times and bad, she never lost her capacity to smile and laugh, nor to inspire others with her warmth and kindness.
She continued, "No one who knew Diana will ever forget her. Millions of others who never met her but felt they knew her will remember her. I for one believe there are lessons to be drawn from her life and from the extraordinary and moving reaction to her death. I share in your determination to cherish her memory." Now this was a massive signal of change for the monarch, and the Queen was actively taking a page out of Diana's book, connecting with the people on an emotional level while allowing her to regain the goodwill of her subjects. Diana's funeral took place on the morning of September 6th, Her funeral procession commenced from Kensington Palace and ended at Westminster Abbey. More than 1 million mourners packed the streets to watch, with 15-year-old Prince William and 12-year-old Prince Harry joining the final stretch of the 4-mile procession behind their mother. An estimated 2.5 billion people around the world watched the service.
You called out to our country, and you whispered to those in pain, now you belong to heaven.
During which Elton John performed Candle in the Wind, which had been rewritten in tribute for Diana. Her brother Charles gave his eulogy, where he took subtle shots at both the royal family and the media for their treatment of his sister.
We managed to contrive to stop the ever-present paparazzi from getting a single picture of her. That meant a lot to her. It is a tribute to her level-headedness and strength that despite the most bizarre life imaginable after her childhood, she remained intact, true to herself.
Diana was buried on an island in the middle of an artificial lake called the Oval Lake, located in the area of Althorpe Grounds, known as the Garden of Pleasures. The place was chosen by her brother because he said she could be cared for smoothly by the family and allowed to be visited privately by Diana's children whenever they wish. Although Diana was dead, her impact on the world would not be forgotten, and she left a lasting mark on the monarchy, altering centuries of tradition. Her sons would carry on their mother's charity work, but not from the confines of a royal palace, but out in the field, interacting with the public. They would offer intimate interviews about their own personal struggles, and most importantly, choose to marry whom they loved, rather than entering into a prearranged partnership. Also, Prince Harry would never have been caught partying it up in Las Vegas if he didn't have his mother paving the path, proving to the world that royals are normal people as well.
Coming this fall, money, sex, Vegas. It's Prince Harry and the Magic Dong.
In September of 1999, a French investigation concluded that the driver, Henry Paul, was intoxicated and that he was responsible for the death of himself, Dodi Fayed, and Princess Diana. This decision was not enough to silence conspiracy theorists or Dodi Fayed's father, Mohammed Al Fayed.
My son and Princess Diana been murdered by the royal family.
Rumors never ceased to circulate that it was a mission carried out by the British Secret Service, MI6, at the request of royalty. Many speculate that Diana had plans to marry Dodi Al Fayed. Some even question if she was pregnant at the time of her death, and there is plenty of evidence to support such claims.
1 year on, and detectives are still investigating how this crash happened.
But experts, journalists, and those close to the princess believe that Diana's death was no accident.
Diana wasn't removed from the car crash vehicle for almost 37 minutes following the crash. A police officer who was with her in the car reported her holding her stomach in pain. It was a total of 81 minutes before she left the tunnel on the way to the hospital, and the ambulance drove at an incredibly slow pace. Those close to Diana described her as a habitual seatbelt wearer, and it was suspicious that all 17 CCTV cameras along the route were either turned off or not working altogether.
Traffic cameras are very important because it's revenue for speeding tickets. And for some reason, the night Diana's car crashed, the cameras were down.
Furthermore, in the months leading up to her death, Diana sent out letters to two close friends, butler Paul Burrell and her solicitor Lord Mitcham. In them, she stated that the royal family were planning her death and stated that it would be carried out in a car accident.
She predicted her death in a violent accident. Precisely, in a sense, the kind that happened.
To silence debate once and for all, the British royal coroner opened up an inquiry into Diana's death, which 4 years later resulted in the jury determining that Diana and Dodi were unlawfully killed because of the actions of both the driver, Henry Paul, and the paparazzi. This would settle any more legal inquests, but many would still have their doubts. I guess we'll never know, unless we hear from that guy on the History Channel and he gets on the case.
If today we're able to create a two-headed dog with 6 legs, is it possible that a similar creature existed thousands of years ago? And I say yes.
In 2007, just before the 10th anniversary of Diana's death, Prince William and Harry honored their beloved mother with a special concert that took place on what would have been her 46th birthday. The proceeds of that event went to charities supported by Diana and her sons.
This evening is about all that our mother loved in life. Her music, her dance, her charities, and her family and friends.
Kate Middleton not only inherited Princess Diana's engagement ring, but also the full support of the royal family. Kate wasn't thrown into the role of princess right away, and was given time to figure it out for herself. She was also coached on every aspect of public life, and given the full support of her husband, which Prince Charles never did. The July 4th issue of Newsweek magazine came out with a computer-generated, digitally aged Princess Diana walking next to her daughter-in-law, the Duchess of Cambridge, on the cover. The issue was meant to commemorate what would have been the princess's 50th birthday. Prince William and his wife, Kate Middleton, also remembered Diana when naming their second child, Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, who was born on May 2nd, 2015. Continuing Diana's charitable efforts, the Diana Princess of Wales Memorial Fund was founded after her death to provide resources for the countless issues she had brought attention to throughout her life. And in 2013, the fund was incorporated into the Royal Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry. They couldn't leave him out. As for the rest of the story, well, it lives on in Diana's memory and through her 2 children, because this is after they were gone. My name is Mike McCrudden, thanks for checking out this video. We do all sorts of celebrity bios here for you guys. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Check out our other video on Princess Diana. I'll see you guys in another video. Boom.
Goodbye, England's rose. May you ever grow in our hearts. You are the grace that placed yourself